This is the training video for the Sony VG10 video camera. Get your battery out of the box. On one side of the battery you'll see these little slots. Those little slots need to go to the top. The easiest way to pop the battery in is if you rest it on the very bottom, push it all the way to the back and then just click it up, it will fit. To release the battery, you've got a slider on this side of the camera. If you just push that slider in and then the battery will drop out. Have an LCD screen on the side of the camera here, you can just flick that out like so. And then to turn the camera on, you've got your on-off switch at the back here. If you just press the little green button in and twist up towards on, it will turn the camera on for us. First thing that we need to do is reset the camera back to factory standard so that any menus that have been set on the camera can be reset. In order to do that, on the side of the camera here where the LCD screen will normally sit, we've got a menu button. If we press that menu button and then using our scroll wheel, scroll down to where it says setup and then press the scroll wheel in to go into that menu. Again, if we scroll all the way down to where it says reset default, we can then reset the camera. So reset default, it will give us this option on the screen. We've got cancel and we've got OK. If we want to cancel this, then we're just going to press the menu button on the side of the camera. If we want to OK it, we're going to press the focus button. So I want to OK that, so I'm just going to press the focus button and the camera will reset for us. The next thing I then need to do is format the memory card. So again, if I just scroll down to where it says format, press my scroll wheel in, the menu button will come out of that menu and the OK button will format the card. Press OK, format the card, you'll see a little status bar here. Once that's orange, the memory card is then formatted. Okay, so to come out of the menu, again, if I just press the menu button and the menu button again, it will bring me out of the menu and I'll be able to see my screen. Top left-hand corner, it says P, which means it's currently in auto mode. If you wish to change it into manual mode, you can press the scroll wheel in at the side of the camera here. And I'm just going to scroll down until I go to where it says M on the screen. And again, press the button in. I've now got an M in the top right-hand corner, which means I'm manually controlling the camera. These cameras come with lens hoods, so I'm going to unscrew the lens hood to take it off. You've got some little red dots on the lens hood. They need to line up with the red dots on the lens. Just twist it on and then click it back into position. On the side of these lenses, you have a lock switch. When that switch is locked, it means that the lens will not zoom. You need to flick the lock switch over and then you'll be able to zoom the lens. Okay, so to use this camera in manual mode, we've got all of our settings at the bottom here. So we have our shutter speed, we have our aperture, and then we have what our exposure is here. In order to change our shutter speed, I'm just going to use the scroll wheel. The shutter speed will be highlighted orange. If I scroll up, it will become darker. If I scroll down, it will become lighter. As a general rule of thumb, our shutter speed should always stay at a 50th, so that should be 1/50. So we set our shutter speed to that. To change our aperture value, if we press this little down button here that sits underneath the scroll wheel, the aperture value then become highlighted and I can use my scroll wheel to scroll up to set my aperture value higher, which means my image will become darker, or I can scroll down to set it to a lower aperture value, which means my image will be brighter. Got a little exposure meter here. It will tell you if it's a plus and it means it's overexposed, and if it's a minus it means it's underexposed. So you need to set your values depending on what type of shot you want, what type of depth of field you want, so that you can see the plus and the minus. If you want to have a deep depth of field, so then you need to use a higher aperture value, you'll become underexposed, so you may want to add a little bit of gain onto your image. In order to do that, we'll press the gain button, and then again using my scroll wheel, I can apply a certain amount of gain. So I can go from 3 dB all the way up to 27 dB. The higher that value, the brighter the image, but the more distortion you get on the image, the more noisy, the more grainy it becomes. So I can just add a little bit of gain if I wish. Again, press the scroll wheel in and it will set that value for me. You can set your white balance on these cameras by using this arrow that points to the left for white balance. And again, using the scroll wheel, you can change your settings. These cameras work extremely well in auto white balance mode, so I strongly recommend that you just leave these cameras in auto white balance and just be concerned with setting all the other settings yourself. Okay. In order to set the camera to manual focus, if we press this focus button here, and then again using our scroll wheel, just go to where it says MF, which is manual focus, and that means I'm manually focusing the camera. In order to zoom on this camera, we've got the ring at the front, so I can zoom in by turning one way, and I can zoom out by turning the opposite direction. The zoom is completely dependent on how well and how smooth you move your hand. So obviously if I do it quickly, it's going to be a quick zoom, or if I do slow, then it's going to be a nice slow zoom. The ring behind the zoom ring is our focus ring, where I can turn to focus the camera. In order to start recording, press the red record button on the back of the camera. You'll see the words record at the top middle of the screen, and it will also tell you how long you're recording for. To stop recording, I can press this red button and it will stop recording. These cameras are capable of taking photos. They're not great for taking photos. If you press this mode button, you'll then see the little camera icon is illuminated, which means it's in photo mode. In order to take a photo, you would just press this photo button here, which is at the top of the camera. To go back to video mode, again, press this button and it will go back to video mode. If when you're holding the camera through the hand strap here, your index finger may rest on this photo button. If your finger is resting on that photo button, it means that you won't be able to make any manual controls. So if you're pressing the button and nothing's happening, just make sure your finger is not on this button.